Greetings, Facebook family. How are you? This video is for the forgotten ones and anyone else that may be interested in this topic. So I had an interesting day yesterday. As most of you know, I'm formerly incarcerated and I'm still on parole. I have life on the back, but I've been home next month 2 years. So unfortunately, being on parole and having the type of conviction that I have and having life on the back is a gift that keeps on giving, meaning that I will be turned down 99.9% of the time because of my background for employment. Employment that I'm more than qualified for, especially the peer work, hospital work, anything dealing with populations that they consider to be vulnerable. They don't want to take the risk of allowing me to work in these situations. So I need to be off parole. So coincidentally, yesterday I had a meeting with the president of MVCC, which is Mohawk Valley Community College. I'm a former student there, but I did not graduate. And I'm very familiar with them. So when I was a student, I actually spoke to the Board of Trustees. I worked part-time, so we were like on a first-name basis. So I had a meeting with him and the diversity officer there, and I didn't know what the meeting was about. And it turned out to be very interesting. So because I'm on parole, I can't work for MVCC. However, he has a couple agencies that he wants to reach out to on my behalf to try to get me employment. So we're going to see how that goes. I think that it's interesting not only that he is doing this, but the fact that he has the insight that he needs to do it for someone that's formerly incarcerated. And I thought that was huge. It was hinted at that, if I was off parole, then I could be considered for employment at MVCC. I thought that was interesting as well. Well, that night, I heard from my parole officer, coincidentally, or is it? And, she was just telling me that things is opening up, so I would have to report at the office now, because I haven't reported at the office in 2 years. Everything has been over the phone. So I just mentioned that I had an interview, the president of MVCC, and she said, oh, that's great. And then I told her, I said, well, I'm on parole, so therefore, they can't, hire me, but he's going to try to be a resource, a reference for me. So she came back and said, well, actually, effective as of yesterday, the 30-30 for parole law is in effect. And I posted this in writing because I was so exciting. So what this means is your loved one comes home. If he has parole or post-release supervision, he will be able to get 30 days shaved off his time for every 30 days he serves without any incident. So it's an incentive. The idea of this, I remember I was inside with this bill. I remember it being proposed. And the idea was to encourage people that's on parole to do better. So not to come home and commit crimes. And the one way they would do that is by giving this incentive to shave time off. So you could do 6 months and get a year shaved off, because it's basically a day for a day. So that's beautiful. And I love that for the forgotten ones. But this particular forgotten one, how does it apply to me? I mean, the timing, if I was just told I can't work at MV, that night I find out that this 30-30. So I have 2 years in. I've earned a year, at least, It's supposed to be a day for a day, so I've earned, 2 years? So technically, I've been home 4 years. But there's a lot of questions. Anyway, the bottom line is my PO is going to, tomorrow, allegedly come and check and investigate if she can put me in for to be inactivated on parole, or what I need to do. So we're at that point now where even if I don't get off now, at least I will know what I need to do. And I'll have some other questions answered. So I'm pretty excited about that. At the possibility of them saying, you know what, you're off parole. How many doors would that open for me? And I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to travel without having a travel pass. I may need to travel. I'm hoping people invite me to come speak somewhere or help them, and whatever the case may be, whole workshops. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to do a lot of things before I can't do it anymore. So I want to share that with you real quick and let you know that this is a good thing for people to come home. Tell your loved ones to have something to look forward to, to be able to, if they have 2 years left on parole, they can get off in a year. If they have 5 years left, they can do it 2.5. So that's an incentive to come home and do the right thing and stay out of trouble, stay out of the street. That's what it's all about. And so now you have another weapon in your arsenal when you go at your loved one to try to help them change. You have this incentive that you can dangle in their face that, listen, it's not as bad as you think as far as being on parole is concerned. You can get off, And you can smoke marijuana on parole. I never thought I'd live to see that, but I've lived to see it, that you can smoke marijuana while you're on parole. So parole is not half as bad for those that have that interest. You can't cry about that. The main issue about being on parole is the curfew. To me, that's the most psychological thing. I don't have a curfew now, but when I first came home, I had one for maybe 6 months. I don't know how long, maybe 6 to 9 months. And it was 9 o'clock. So in the summertime, it's still light out at 9 o'clock at some points of the summer. What am I going to do being in the house at 9 o'clock? That is really the number one violation, because guys has been like, listen, I just left doing 5 years locked up. You mean you're going to lock me up in my house? I can't stay at night? And I'm trying to get with a woman or a man or whatever the case may be, and that don't happen. If you're a man and you're dealing with a woman, she wants you to come over about 10 or 11, But if you come over at 9, she don't want you to leave at night. She wants you to hang out for a while, maybe even spend the night. So how do you do this? But what you need to do is make sure that you do not violate whatever your parole officer tells you. This is what you have to tell your loved one. You just have to communicate with them. So I had got to the point where I told my PO, I said, listen, this is getting on my nerves. I want to spend the night out. And she said, no, don't worry about it. You're not on curfew no more. That's how she solved that problem. But I had earned it. But with a little patience, that can happen too. She said, you don't have a curfew no more. Because she got tired of me asking, can I spend the night out? So I was at a stage in my parole where I had established myself, not causing any problems. So she said, guess what? You don't have a curfew no more. It was that simple. And what a relief. But your loved one is going to have to be patient until that time comes. So anyway, I just want to do a little quick video, not keep you long, just to kind of expound on this 30-30 law. It's a good thing to get off parole early half of the time. Anything beats a blank, as they say. And I will keep you updated as far as I'm concerned. If I find out anything relevant, surely if it's good news, I'm going to scream it on social media. Because not only will it make me happy, I feel like I earned this. But with the type of conviction I have and having life on parole, my expectations is low. And so, we'll see. Keep me in prayer, put positive thought out there if you want. I would appreciate it. I'll be back till the next time. Peace.